That's the main thing people are controlled by. Thoughts, their perception of themselves. They're slowed down by their perception of themselves.
This video will be a new addition to a series on this channel known as Essential Life Skills, where I explain various qualities that we should all look to improve on. I explain the specific components of the skill and the processes we should take to better understand and exhibit the discussed trait. Today, I will be talking about the importance of self-awareness. This quality is something that is vital to your development as a human being. At its core, self-awareness is the practice of understanding yourself through reflection and observation, but there is definitely more to it. In this video, I will detail some core pieces of performing great self-awareness, as well as methods to build a skill over time. I hope you find this video worth your time, and let's get started. Understanding your morals, motivations, the why, is the foundational pillar of having great self-awareness. Additionally, it is the most important trait to have when it comes to utilizing self-awareness to develop relationships. Let me explain. The level of which you understand yourself will determine how well you can connect with the people around you. When you are in touch with your identity and inner motivations, you are able to express that to others. Also, you have the ability to genuinely answer tough questions that reveal your character. These examples are what connect people together, but you need to know yourself. Let's think about it the opposite way as well. If you don't understand yourself, then you will likely come off as disingenuous. People will notice that you avoid expressing yourself and sharing your identity. They'll either assume that you don't know the answer yourself or that you don't want to share. But regardless, it will be much harder to make connections. Another way of looking at it is like this. The more you know yourself, the better you'll be able to select people who will make your life better. You'll know what traits you value in someone, because they are the ones that already exist within you. On an internal level, understanding yourself, at least for me, brings a sense of relief in important situations. You can rely on your self-awareness to aid you when you make an important decision, and you'll know that you won't regret it later. If you're wondering how to develop this self-understanding, there are 3 components to get there: questions, reflections, and time. You need to reflect on your behavior throughout your life. Write things down if you want. Think about an action and begin asking questions. You might find that as you do more asking and reflecting, you'll begin noticing patterns as far as motivations and why you did certain things. Those findings are the pieces of your identity, and that is how you exemplify self-awareness. Who you are versus who you think you are is arguably the perfect test to determine whether you have good self-awareness or not. First though, we need to understand the difference between the two. Everyone has an internal perception of themselves that is somewhat different from the way everyone else sees them. For example, we might think we're a little funnier than we actually are, or a little more caring, or maybe even downplay something we are better at. Whatever it is, there is almost always a level of separation between self-perception and how others perceive you, and that difference is unique to everyone. Self-awareness is having a clear understanding of your level of separation. On top of that, great self-awareness involves actually trying to close the gap between how you view yourself versus how others perceive you. You might be curious as to how you can determine your answer and take action. The process is exactly like the previous section. Ask yourself questions. Do you feel like people understand you? Do they treat you like you expect them to? Do you feel like people understand your motivations and desires? Think about how much people know about you. The more they do, the easier it is for them to develop a genuine picture of you. However, the less they know, the more they are just going to use past experiences to create an inauthentic perception of who you are. In order to combat this, you, as stated earlier, need to have a good grasp on who you are as a person. Once you do, all that comes after is expressing yourself authentically, when you interact with others. Give people the best opportunity to connect with your self-perception. Help them see you without any bias or stereotypes. But in order to do this, you need to develop and cultivate self-awareness. There is a huge misconception about self-awareness that I want to address. It's the idea that it is only about your observations. The display of humility and openness to change from others' inputs is arguably just as important as your own reflections. You can't just listen to yourself if you really want to grow as a person. And I feel like thinking about self-awareness can sometimes make us believe like that is the only way. The problems with only listening to yourself are as follows. First, you will always have some bias towards who you are, as we talked about in the previous section. Those biases can cloud finding weaknesses or areas of improvement. Secondly, you can never view yourself from the outside, but that's the way everyone else sees you. Looking from the outside gives so much more insight that you simply cannot figure out on your own. So be open to hearing what others have to say about you. Welcome the good and bad observations. For a lot of us, this can be embarrassing and uncomfortable. It's never easy to hear your flaws, especially if they are coming from someone else. But you know what? You probably already know you have these flaws. And while it may hurt a little to hear it from someone else, in the long term, you'll realize that it's just the wake-up call you needed. Ask people what they see as your strengths and weaknesses. Make sure you understand how they came to their conclusions, what behaviors you have that influenced their decision process. I'm sure you'll be able to find patterns if you ask enough people. And you can use that valuable knowledge to not only enhance your self-awareness, but make great strides in becoming a more complete person. I think that self-awareness is vital for happiness. It allows you to understand your motivations, your reason why. And when you know what you want in life, you will feel so much more focused and driven as you go throughout your days, which will in turn make you happier. Self-awareness is something that we all need to practice regularly. Dedicating some time at the end of every week to reflect is definitely a great way to do that. And it's something that you can continually grow over your life. Just be patient with it. And with that, our discussion of self-awareness is over. But I definitely want to talk about more essential life skills in the future, so let me know if there are any specific ones you want me to address soon. Also, since this year is coming to a close, I'm curious to hear how it has gone for you. Let me know the highs and lows in the comments. And as always, this has been Dark Horse, and I will see you in the next video.
Wake up, it's the first of the month.